Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'd just like to run through a couple of new laser cutting files. They're Christmas files and they're available in my Etsy shop if you'd like to download the file and make it yourself. I would make the physical product, but unfortunately it just takes too long, and I've only got a hobby laser here. I'm not really running a factory, so I'm just going to be selling the files for now. The first thing is to prepare the plywood. So I'm using 3mm hardwood faced plywood, and I'm just going to use some 240 grit sandpaper to just clean off and make it nice and smooth, ready for varnishing. Once you've sanded this with 240 grit paper, I'm just going to get some compressed air and just clean off any dust from in the grain. If you haven't got a compressor, you could always just use a damp cloth. Now I'm just sealing the wood with a varnish. I used floor varnish, a gloss floor varnish. I've played around with lots of different varnishes and I find that this one is best for this application. Just gonna put a nice even coat on, and then that'll seal the grain of the wood. Lovely. Right, I've set those ones to one side. These are some I prepared earlier. Had these ones lying around for a while now, so I tend to use 300 squares just because it fits in my laser cutter nicely. But you could do it on an A3 piece if you haven't, MDF, ply, whatever you've got, but it's got to be 3mm for cutting this design. So now I've taped up my piece of ply, I'm going to take it over to the laser cutter. I'm going to put this in here. This is like a nail board. I know lots of people have these honeycomb bases, they're quite good I think, but I just use this. So I put that in there, and now I'm going to connect my laptop up and get the design ready. So I've just opened up Lightburn on here, and I'm going to open up my file. So there it is, I've split it into two so that I can cut it on my 300mm squares. You might have to do that, ungroup it and then just move it depending on what size piece you're cutting. So I'm going to turn the laser cutter on now. And then I'm going to frame this area, so I just click frame. Now I'm going to get my focal length gauge. It's just a piece of acrylic which I cut, and for my machine it's 14.5mm. You can determine this by doing a ramp test. There's lots of videos on YouTube about how to do a ramp test. So just put this on here, and as you can see the ply isn't quite flat, so for me I just use this masking tape to just hold it flat. Others use magnets, there's lots of different techniques. So I'm just measuring the focal length here, making sure that it's within the right distance. I think that's fairly close, if not spot on, because I've already cut this file before, so there's no adjustments needed. Now all I've got to do is start running the file. And so the file will start to cut. Now I'm just going to put this down because it gets a bit smoky, but I might put the camera lens in so you can see it cutting. Okay, so finished. So all the pieces have cut out nicely. Okay, now I'm going to put in another piece of ply. I'm just going to open up the other file. Again, you might have to split it up and just rearrange it so it fits on whatever size piece you're cutting. I'm going to frame it, adjust this so it fits in there. Now I shouldn't have to adjust the height if this is flat enough, so I'm just going to get my laptop, check the settings and start. So there we go. Now I can take this out. Sometimes the little pieces need a helping hand to get them out. I'm just going to give these pieces a coat of black spray paint. I'm going to put my mask on because I am inside. So while that's drying, I'm just going to take off the masking tape from the other pieces, which aren't going to be sprayed. And as you can see, that masking tape just totally protects the wood from any horrible burn marks. I'm just going to give it another coat now. This is dry. While that's drying, I'm just going to paint the red on here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. You can just go ahead and spray it straight on, but then that's going to get red all in here, and I want that to be black. So what I've done, I've just made this jig here for painting, and that will allow me to cover up the gaps and only paint the bars. Because I painted this in a couple of light coats, it dried really quickly. And if you put a really thick coat on there, you've got the chance of it bleeding out, and it won't dry too quick. So now this is dry, I'm going to go. Oh, it's not quite dry actually. I'm being impatient again. I'll leave that a bit longer. All the pieces cut out. I'm just going to glue together the countdown piece. I'm just using PVA glue and a paintbrush to apply it. Once it's together, I'm just going to get some of my little clamps and pinch it up. I'm going to start with the side pieces. So that goes like that. And then this piece slots in here. So that slots in there. And then this piece should be able to wiggle in here. They just clip together. So I'm just going to get some glue and put it in all these finger joints here and in here. can see, it's not really a fast process. Now, squeeze in there. I'm going to go get a cloth and just wipe off the excess glue. Here's a cloth. I can glue on the bottom piece. Just wiping off the excess glue as I go. Now I'm going to glue the front piece on. Okay, so while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to go and start editing this video. Right, so this should be fairly dry now. I've left it for probably a couple of hours, I guess. There we go. I need to peel off these little bits of masking tape, which I didn't do earlier. So now I'm going to get the counter for the top. I'm just dipping the tabs in a bit of PVA, and that can slot on the top. There we go. And then we can slide the front door on. So there we have it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link for this laser cutting file will be in the description below, so head over to my Etsy shop and you can download it from there. I've also got files for making 2020 Christmas decorations, if you would like to remember it for the year that we stayed at home, or potentially you'd like to give it the middle finger, because I know I would. Thanks for watching, see you next time.